V'hinei bir inyan v'nafshi ka'afar chulu. Now to explain the concept of that my soul will be like dust to all and so forth. Pesach libi chulu, open my heart to your Torah. Mevor, it's explained. She'ikar yisod kabbalas haTorah hu daf gal yidei v'nafshi ka'afar, that the main foundation of receiving the Torah is specifically through the concept of that my soul will be like dust. Shubechinas iskafya, which is the concept of bending oneself. Lechem oni, the bread of poverty, the matzah of matzah. Ki hine bebechinas zu bechinas iskafya ulamayla bebechinas hishavcha, because in this concept, the concept of bending oneself is higher than changing oneself. Ki hagam she'enu mehapech es hamidos adayin, because even though you're not actually changing the emotions yet, nonetheless this has the true state of nullification completely, that he's nullifying oneself to do the opposite of his desire, which is not the case with changing oneself. It's not the nullification of one's desire. Even though it has this great quality of despising the bad, but it doesn't have the same state of nullifying one's will, because you don't need to nullify the will, because he doesn't want it. So too with the concept of arousal from below, in a state of nullification, that you remove yourself from all bechinas iskafia, which is the concept of bending oneself. This awakens an arousal from above, from the divinity that surrounds creation, shugamkin inyan histalkus atzmuso umuhuso lahachios ruch shvelim levnid kaim chulu, which is also a concept of the going upwards of the essence of Hashem and being, to enliven, in order to enliven the lowly of spirit and the broken of heart. So, meaning to say that it's a hanachas atzmuso of atmos ein sof, to come downwards, just like we are nullifying ourselves. So this causes a hanachas atzmuso above. Therefore, after this self-sacrifice in one, which is this idea of nullifying one's will, the Kabbalah's whole Malchus Shemayim, you draw down the Baruch Shem, what's Baruch Shem, to draw down Bechinas Malchus, Olam Va'ed, the concept of the kingship downward forever. Because Va'ed is, if you switch the letters, is the word Echad, one. And our sages said any place it says Va'ed ein lo hefsek, it never stops. That is, in order to have the concept of was king, is king, and will be king, adin ketz chulu, forever and ever, malchus olam va'ed. So the concept of Mesiras Nefesh in Echad draws, meaning to say that the concept of Mesiras Nefesh Echad draws down all the way infinitely, the malchus all the way down. B'nefesh hainu shelo lios bechinas shinuim tochat tefila v'acharat tefila, meaning to say that there's no hefsek, it goes all the way. It's the hamshacha is all the way. That is to say, when you're davening, it doesn't change. While you're davening, or after you're davening, the whole day. Like the concept of change is the concept of the malachim that died, that they became king and then they died. And when you nullify your will, you can't say that there's a change, because you've nullified your will, so you never change it. Like a love that goes away and changes after you daven. Aval bitul ratzon, but nullifying one's will, yachol liyos kol hayom, that could be the whole day. Gam be'esik ma'aseh umatan, even when you're doing work and getting parnasa. Nimsa moving, so it's understood bechinas isirus, l'sat bechinas iskafia, bitul ratzon me'order lamayla yosem bechinas ishafcha. So it's understood then that the bending of oneself and subjugating your will, nullifying one's will to above, that awakens from above higher than the level of changing oneself of his hafcha, that this awakens the concept of sovev, of the encompassing divinity. So it's understood then the concept of eating matzah, the bread of poverty, the concept of bending oneself in yiniserus, the lasata, the arousal from below. This is a likeness of the great love of all one's might. In Shema, the third level of love, which is higher than the level of changing oneself, the bechol of all one's heart. And this is like the greatness of the Balei Tshuva over the complete tzaddikim, like was explained in Ozayin of the Mamar. And this concept is also through the bending of oneself of the bread of poverty, the matzah of matzah. And therefore matzah specifically has the ability to take us out of Mitzrayim. And is the preparation for the receiving of the Torah, like we said before. Ne'amar anochi chulu, that the opening of his words may be blessed. Matan Torah is I am the essence. Asher otziich meretz Mitzrayim, kanal, that I took you out of Mitzrayim. That they're connected. The anochi and the otziich meretz Mitzrayim. Nonetheless, after the concept of bending oneself at the bread of poverty and going out of Mitzrayim, you still have to count the Omer Levola Kabbalas Torah to go to reach the receiving of the Torah. Because the concept of going out of Mitzrayim is the level of the Balei Tshuva, which is higher than the complete tzaddikim. But this tshuva is only for an hour, for a moment. Then you have to go from level to level afterwards. Do it properly. As is known, that the mochin that are drawn down on the night of Pesach, they go upwards. Afterwards, and afterwards we draw them down little by little. That is to say, through the counting of the Omer shebechinas ishafcha, the bechol of avcha chulu, which is the changing of all one's heart. Call memtes yemei Omer, all 49 days of the Omer. Pasuk Parshas Uesrosh Koladas Bnei Yisrael Gulgulosam. So the concept of Sfiras Omer is Ishafcha, the Kabbalah's old mitzvos, like we said in V'haya. In the Shavuos, we read that you should lift up all the heads of the sons of Israel to their skulls, which is like the Keser. And that's the concept of the great love which is higher than intellect. Like the concept of great love with all of your might. Which through the revelation of the crown on Shavuos, like it says in another place. And so we can say that. So that's similar to the concept of the Shavuos. Then is like similar to the idea of Yetzias Mitzrayim. It's after the avoda of the ishafcha of the tzaddikim. So therefore, it's like the concept of that the tzaddikim themselves should do tshuva. That even though you've gone to the level of ishafcha of changing oneself through the 49 days of the Omer, you once again reach this level of meodecha, even though you're on the level of the tzaddik of Ishafcha. So that's la'asva tzaddikaya b'tiyuvtachu, to make the tzaddikim do tshuva. And then you have the concept of receiving the Torah. Therefore, it's found that the concept of the bread of poverty of matzah, which is the bending of oneself, is the foundation of bringing all these other levels of the Sfiras Omer and Shvuos. And because all these other levels, these 49 levels in Shavuos, come from the matzah, therefore our sages said that the lechem oni, why is it called the bread of oni? That we say upon it, we answer upon it, we're on it many things.